Alrighty, we are live. Hey guys, Engineer Wannabe here with a bunch of my friends. We have a full panel today.
Such a
Good to see
popular
you.
guy.
Yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be a good week, good Saturday. Um, Today we're just going to be shooting the breeze, as they say, enjoying a watch chat, trying our best not to talk about the new releases that came out, but if we really have to, we will. But we I know Bobby and we've been chatting through the week, and we are burnt out. I know I'm burnt out with
Yeah.
all the watches and wonders stuff. So
Swissed out, right?
yeah. But hey, let's get started and do a wristwatch check. Sam, you're first this time.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
What are you wearing?
So I'm wearing the Full Metal G-Shock. So, uh, yeah. So this is the Full Metal G-Shock actually.
Yeah,
There's something about this watch. I just couldn't resist. Even though like the pricing was ridiculous, I managed to snag a good deal, and it's one of those watches like people will think it's crazy to spend that much money on quartz or I don't know whatever they say, but
yeah,
this thing here is just thing of enjoyment. I loved it from first sight. It's a great watch.
yeah, yeah. It looks great. I wanted to have one. I wanted to wear one, but I just can't manage the full metal version. I can wear
Yeah,
the regular G-Shock Square, but the full metal just flares out so
yeah,
much that
yeah. There is that issue with it where you have that this outer link here,
yeah,
where yeah, that's just non-free moving, so it's just going to add to overall lug to lug.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Keith,
I've owned that exact watch actually. It's quite nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
And the way around it, Sanjay, if you're interested, is the half metal G-Shock. You can get the metal shroud and then the rubber bracelet.
that's true. I've actually looked at the blued steel. Well, it's probably not blued, but
No, I have that right now.
oh, really?
wow.
Well, there you go. We do have similar tastes, so. Keith, what's on your wrist?
Yeah, so I'm back from the farmer's market.
Yeah.
I don't know where Withered Manscape is. He's not showing up. But I'm
Where
also,
do you get that from? Do you know?
I don't know. I guess I look like a guy that goes to farmer's markets. I don't know if that's a compliment or what.
Is the weather okay for a farmer's market up there?
I don't know.
Chicago.
But I'm also representing Casio today. I'm wearing the
Very-
rare F91W.
Yeah, got a
Um,
blue chip piece right there.
yeah. Or
No,
it's
it's
dirty.
beautiful. I had the green version, like the green PVD, or I'm sure it's not PVD, but how long have you had that one?
I got this 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Battery's still going. I don't know how long the battery's supposed to last. I was actually thinking about it today. Like, if the battery goes out, do I just buy a new one, or do I get to replace the battery? I think it cost me $10. So,
Yeah, I
But
think
yeah.
it's supposed to last 10 years.
oh really? Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Okay, that's good. But yeah, this is the watch I wear when I want to not feel like I'm wearing a watch. So, 'cause I can't even tell I'm wearing it.
Right. Toran, how about you? What's on your wrist?
Right now, I'm wearing the Black Bay 58 Blue.
Very
Now,
nice.
I didn't really like the clasp on that, so I went with the strap code bracelet.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
better.
It's better. The end links aren't as good, so you're taking a hit one way or the other. And I was also just going to flex and show you the half metal
Yeah.
blue on rubber there. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
why don't you
actually,
like it?
I really like this watch. I set all of my automatic watches to this one because it's got the multi-band 6 atomic timekeeping.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why don't you like the class? Have you talked about that before? Because I've heard nothing but good things about that Tudor class.
I don't like that there's no micro adjustment and there's only 3 micro adjustment anchoring points that are a little spaced out for me. And it's also a little bit short, so it kind of digs into my wrist. But like, I have a big wrist, and I'm trying to pull it off. Like, my wrist is 7.5 inches, and this is only a 39 millimeter watch.
That's very interesting. Bobby, how about you?
So for my Canadian people up north who I talked to last week, it's
Oh,
Ooh.
Milgos, the blue.
yeah, or as Kevin O'Leary says, Zeblo.
Very nice. How long have you had that piece? Since
Uh, 2 years.
right,
It's
pretty cool.
everything's good. Like the only thing is it's polished center links, which I don't like.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
everything else is good.
Cool. On my wrist today, we have the SBGX 259. Don't wear this too often, but every time I do put it on, the thinness really, just the way it wears, it's really nice. It just here. Let me show you the down the barrel shot here. No.
You should call it the Buzz Lightyear. Like it,
Yeah. Let's go to the camera for the Buzz Lightyear shot. Yeah, very nice. Nope. Yeah. So I've been enjoying that. Earlier, I was wearing my the King Seiko, but I took it off for playtime with the kids. So, all right. So, it's been a busy week, but before that, let's say hi to everyone in the chat. Cannon's here. Good to see you, Cannon. The strap on the thumbnail is actually the lug strap. So if you guys want to go check it out, so it's a Babel. It's called Babel leather, and made by Deluxe. Peter, good to see you as well. Thanks for joining us. Keith, hey man, how are you?
Oh, hey.
Finally made it to a show. Wilson, good to see you too. Thanks for joining us, and Jared as well. Wow, we got quite a few guys here. Kevin S is here too. P Singh, hey man, good to see you. Watch yourself. Just in EDC. Did I miss anyone? Jonathan's here. Hey Jonathan. Wrist Ross, good to see you. Chaz, hey man. A lot of the usual guys. Just want to plug the Super Best Watch Friends group. It's on Discord. If you guys haven't anyone watching, if you're not on it, most of us seem to be on it. That's in the chat right now. But if you haven't heard of the Super Best Watch Friends Club, it's the cool place to be. So yeah, I'll probably put a invite link or something in the description if I'm able to do that. But it was put together by Amin, so we do a lot of live meetups and stuff like that. So it's been great. It's it's weird because I do YouTube because it's a hobby, right? Like I do this as a hobby, and because of the Super Best Watch Friends Club or the Discord group. I'm kind of like, that's like the hobby complete. So I'm like, oh, do I still keep doing videos, or I'll still keep doing videos because it's still a lot of fun. But yeah, so another crisis. But Amin actually sent me a really cool buckle here. I know I'm not a full screen layout, but it's a Grand Seiko buckle, and he just sent it to me. It's just a really great guy. So if you guys haven't checked out Amin from Amin Reviews, you really should. And yes, Wilson, we drink adult chocolate milk there. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, they were talking about it because you said you were going to drink chocolate milk. So they posted a picture of adult chocolate milk, which I assume has alcohol in it, but I didn't look too far into it.
Well, I don't know if it does have alcohol in it. Wouldn't it be like just like an ironic thing? Just chocolate milk for adults. Yeah. So let us know what you're wearing on your wrist, guys. We'll check back in the chat very soon. Okay. So busy week, but we can't talk about watches and wonders. So let's go to something that happened to Sam. Actually, Sam, this week you sold your enamel dial Seiko.
Yeah.
Do you wanna talk about that? What happened?
Yeah. I just wanted to sell the watch. Essentially, like I didn't connect to it at first as well. I actually bought it pre-owned as well. I think back then, around 1.5 years ago, there was a lot of hype with enamel dials, and the market for the enamel dial was scarce.
Yeah.
So when I saw the enamel dial at the price it was selling for, which was like 1.1k Aussie dollars, I was like, wow, that's a steal. But now, yeah, it's just with Seiko that market value, it's gone to the hits. It's gone to 600, 700 Australian dollars. So I just realized, I've got to cop that loss. So yeah, it was like a $400 loss, but the watch itself is nice. It's just a little bit thick on the thicker end, but yeah, the enamel dials, it's just yeah, it's done great. And yeah, I just want to know how do you guys feel when if you do go for a sell, and you might get that loss, like you go through that loss, it could be a big one. How do you guys cope with that? With me, I didn't really feel the loss because I had the watch for around a year. So it was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna sell it off. It didn't really feel like, oh yeah, I lost money because I paid for it ages ago. It didn't matter. But yeah, just wanted to
Mhm.
hear you guys' thoughts.
Yeah, because it kind of feels like your rental for owning the watch,
Mm.
right? Yeah, I wouldn't mind losing a little bit. And kind of if you actually take it to its and like if you take collecting as a hobby, and you every dollar you put in you count as sunk costs. When you come out of it, if you lose a little bit of money, it doesn't feel too bad. But yeah, if you do put your savings into the collection, and you're really stretching, then yeah, losing any amount of money kind of feels horrible. But yeah, does anyone else have any thoughts on that, on losing money, or some I
Well,
know
yeah,
some of us would be.
well, I think I've done multiple times. I
Yeah.
think it's like what Sam was saying, um, risk time rental. That's basically what you're gonna cop up, and you've worn it for some time. So I think that is the rental. It's kind of like anything materialistic, like cars or anything. You're leasing it out, for a couple. Let's say you take it for 2 years, and you have to pay every month. But at least for watches, you don't. And then some of them you win, some of them you lose. I chalk it up to experience. But that being said, I think you'll think smarter next time, next purchase. That being said, if you enjoyed your experience, I mean, you have memories and experiences with the old watch that can't be bought with any amount of money.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, I really want to know the people that consider themselves flippers, flippers for life that are constantly buying and selling. I really would love to see the details of how much money they're losing doing that. Is it a lot? Is it worth it to them? It must be because they keep doing it.
Or it's an
Yeah,
addiction.
a lot of times people don't. What'd you say?
Or it's an addiction.
Yeah, yeah, that very well could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one ever says how much. Usually, people don't say how much they're losing when they're selling watches, but I'd be curious to know.
I
Yeah.
think it's to be expected though. Like if besides, let's say the Rolexes or the Pateks or certain Omega models, I think you're going to expect a loss. I don't see any reason why you're expecting to keep value.
Hmm.
Especially, it's kind of like you get a car that's not, let's say, some out of brand. Once you hit the curb, you're going to lose 20%, right off the. So same thing with watches. If it's not like this, you're going to lose 20% right off when you leave the boutique. So you should expect that when you purchase it. That's the qualms. That's why I always try to say, think about what your purchase is, think hard, then think
Mhm.
again. Take a good night's sleep over it before making a purchase.
Watch Yourself actually brings up a really good point. He says if you never buy a watch that costs more than $100, you'll never lose more than $100. That's a good point, because if you lose, say, I don't know, 60% of $100, you only lose $60. But if you lose 60% of $10,000, you've lost $6,000. So yeah, that's perspective. Everything is kind of relative. If in the end, if you really don't want to lose 60%. But that's where you buy smart, right? You try to negotiate a deal if it's an AD, or you buy pre-owned, or buy smart and come out good on the other side.
But it's the same question to Sam. I think, have you sold a watch that has given you profit?
Around 2 years ago, well, maybe 1.5 years ago, I was actually buying quite a lot of Seikos. I had like 10 Seikos in the collection. I had like, some like the Arnis, I had some special turtles, I had quite some cocktail times as well. I actually never copped a loss back then. I think because of COVID, there's been a huge, expectation now. It's like, hey, if I'm going to buy this pre-owned Seiko, I want 50% off. Like that's what I get offered. That's what a lot of people get offered as well. It's like especially with limited edition pieces from Seiko as well. Even smaller number ones, there's no such thing. It doesn't keep its value at all. Especially with my Crown Presage as well. Like I have a few friends trying to sell theirs. Yeah, they're just getting offered 650. The retail on that is 1,300. They probably purchased it for 1,100. So yeah, people are copying big losses now. But from my perspective and my experience, I think 1.5 years ago,
It
people
wasn't like
didn't.
this.
It was not
Yeah.
like this. Honestly, COVID has a huge impact from to this market. That's what I feel. Yeah,
If you try it, have you tried selling? Did you sell it online? I should ask, or did you sell
I
it in person?
yeah I try and sell on Australian forum the watch forums, the
Right.
watch buy sells groups. I've also put it on eBay as well, but then you cop the fee there as well.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah,
I
yeah,
think Toran and Sanjay can help me out, but in the North America, I think the market's bigger because there's more buyers, so
yeah,
you don't cop a loss that much. I think in Australia, you're limited to geographically at least, um, to the number of buyers
yeah.
and,
Yeah,
That's
and sellers.
because I was gonna say, like I've sold a couple of watches. I tend to trade my watches in because my AD has been really good about the offers that he gives me, but the ones that I have sold, um, I didn't notice any dip because of the coronavirus. Everything has been hunky dory. Well, I've never said that before, but everything's been good. And so yeah, I was a little surprised to hear that Sam, you've had some trouble with selling pieces and people offering lowball offers, but it makes sense. Normally we would be expecting people to be dumping product onto the market, like people who bought all their Seikos, they need the money now and they're dumping it, and so it's costing 50, you're getting 50 cents on the dollar now. So yeah, but over here we haven't had that issue.
yeah,
I think it should even out too, right? Like your profits and your losses in the long run. It'll be a problem if you're selling, and it's always a loss.
yeah,
Then you have a problem. But I think, like like you said, you've had experiences where it's profit in the past, and now you've just sustained a loss. I think in the long run, as you get smarter, I think it all evens out, or you should be on the
yeah,
plus side.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think also in America as well, like even if you buy something like a micro brand, like you could still easily sell it. But
Hmm.
if you're in Australia, it's not gonna sell well. Yeah, you're gonna have to lose 60% of that value or even more on micro brand watches. So that's one thing I realized as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which enamel was it? Kevin was asking.
it's it was the blue enamel with power reserve indicator. Um,
Right.
yeah,
With the bracelet, right? So the
it
SPB 091 or something.
I bought it pre-owned, right? And yeah, that guy who bought it, he opted out for the crocodile leather strap, so he got that instead. And when I did buy it, like mainly it was I was very intrigued with enamel dials, and I didn't really care. I didn't look at the condition. It's kind of my newbie mistake. And I think the guy had really small wrists, and he was like, "Hey, I'll give you two extra watch straps." And I was like, "Wow, he's giving me these two watch straps." But he actually cut those watch straps, like he cut them,
Who?
and the crocodile strap itself was in very poor condition as well. So when I actually got the watch, I was kind of disappointed, and wasn't quoted it was quoted for an excellent condition. It definitely wasn't. So I didn't like that initial experience with the watch, and I was like, ah, I enjoyed the dial. I had some good moments with it, but then yeah, I didn't like my experience when I did get it, and that's just my lesson to learn. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think if you have a bad experience going in, you typically don't retain the watch for too long.
yeah,
Yeah. That's a good point.
yeah.
Especially because we're kind of emotional in the watch hobby. I shouldn't speak for everyone, but I know I'm pretty emotional.
Mm.
Jumping into the chat, Jared was saying it definitely sucks to lose money. Makes me focus on buying the right watch for the right price. That much more. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's see. Oop. Skipped a beat there. Ride, paddle, repeat. Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us. Piecing says he expects a loss, especially buying SW200 slash ETA mid tiers, but always try to get a great deal. Hamilton Intermatic Chronograph 44 millimeters, the beast. Did they make a 44 mil? Is that a new one? I didn't know they had a 44 mil.
Yeah,
I know they have 42, right? And like a 40 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, they have 40. We'll have to look that up. Watch Yourself definitely looks for the best deal he can find. Unfortunately, I've lost more than $30. I've never lost more than $30. That being said, I've never spent more than $800 on a watch, so my risk is limited. Good point. Let's see. Piecing was shouting out brilliant Norcane Adventure Sport available on eBay right now. Not even kidding. Wow. There we go. Kevin says, don't sell your watches and you never lose money. Just keep buying. Good point. Here's
like
our
Dorian.
friend.
Wow.
There he
Wizard
is.
Manscape is here. How's it going, Wizard Manscape? Good to see you. Kevin's asking, how is the Norcane? Watch yourself. Toran, I'll likely soon buy the 43 millimeter version of the ball watch you recently reviewed. Is that something you think would retain its $2,400 value?
Yeah, that's a phenomenal watch. The watch he's talking about is the carrying edition of the Engineer 3 Marvelite. Now, my experience has been I've owned the Engineer 2, and I bought it pre-owned, and it took like a 40% hit at least. So if you buy it, I think you should. I think it's worth what the retail is, but I don't think it's going to retain the $2,400 value. Unfortunately, it's probably going to lose. I mean, it is limited, so probably at least 30%, I'd say. But I mean, if you buy it, I think you'll be happy with it. You probably won't want to move it that readily.
Mike Martin says, I wonder if the rise in manufacturing quality of Chinese clone watches is having an effect on the resale market for certain watches. It wouldn't for me. I mean, to us as enthusiasts, I guess it wouldn't. But yeah, I think Jody did a review of one of these clone watches on just one more watch. He had a clone Omega Seamaster, and it looked, like a dead ringer for it, even with the display case back. And I think Watchfinder did a similar video as well. But yeah, like you mentioned, he said it well, because you're lying to everyone around you. You're lying to yourself when you buy one of these clone watches, replicas, and there's no enjoyment other than just to lie about. I don't even know, to kind of make yourself look more wealthy, maybe. But
Although, can I take a small tangent and say,
yeah,
what do you think about Homage watches made in China? Because those are really good, like San Martin or Pagani Design, I think, does a lot.
yeah,
And they have some really good quality pieces. Like, to me, it's surprising how low you can get the manufactured cost to go through the spec sheet of like, okay, I want ceramic, I want sapphire, you want the water resistance, you want a really good bracelet. And those brands are doing it for a lot less. I mean, obviously they're not investing any R&D or designing, but they're basically copying like the popular mid-tier Seikos, um, especially from the Prospects line. Like I've seen a lot of really good homages to like the Tuna recently, or the Samurai, or like a Sumo. So
Yeah, we actually talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but it's always good to retouch on it. I actually don't like the word homage
oh,
because I would think it would be better to call them like copy watches. And a homage would be kind of like the Maurice Lacroix icon, or I can't think of anything else right now. Do you guys have any? Tudor Royal. Tudor Royal would be another homage, I would say, because they're actually paying respect to another brand, right? Another watch from maybe a vintage watch, and then we have the copy watches, which are identical. They just have a different logo, and then you have the replicas, or the knockoffs, which are has the fake logo and everything. So I mean, I think an homage, or sorry, so to use your term homage, or the general consensus, general term homage, I think that's okay for a non-watch enthusiast, or a person who's getting into the hobby and who's really trying to find their way. I think that's a good way to kind of experiment, see what you like, get a good value for the money you're spending. And I suppose that's a good way to go. But to someone who is a real who's been in the hobby for a while, who's a real enthusiast, um, I think an homage is doing them a disservice. So that's kind of what we we settled on. That's kind of what I settled on. I know Sam had some good points. If the homage watch, if you're a real enthusiast and the homage watch makes you happy, then you really should go for it. This was Sam's point. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but it's good if that makes you happy, and that's what you want to go for, knowing that knowing that there are these like say the Maurice Lacroix icon, the ones who actually pay respect but have their own thing going, kind of like the Grand Seiko SPGN 003 005. That's the one you have, right, Toran?
it is.
Yeah, so they have their own thing going, right? Kind of looks like the Explorer 2, but it has its own thing going. And yeah, there you go. So that would be, I think, a fitting word. Homage would be a fitting word for that, because it's paying respects. So yeah, I think that's where I stood coming out from that conversation, I think a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if anyone else wants to add to that little tangent, but if not, we can move on. James Moore is asking if anyone's hyped up on Ming.
Marcus is not in the
Kevin
chat.
O'Leary is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for
Marcus
sure.
is not in the chat. Yeah, I'm not hyped up on Ming. I don't know if anyone else is. Really haven't had that much interest in it. I mean, they look good. The watches look good. All right. Toran, another question for you. How are you liking the Black Bay 58? He has the blue dial Black Bay 58 as well. Would love to buy the 925 silver version when it is available.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. As I mentioned last week, I've owned the Black Bay 58 Black before, and I actually think this one is better. I mean, it suits my taste more. Maybe because I already have a lot of black dial watches in the collection, but I really like the type of blue is a lot better than. And I've owned the Pelagos as well, and I found that blue was like too matte or like pastel color, where this one just plays with the silver indices very well. So I'm really enjoying the Black Bay 58. Yeah, it's a great watch. And it's smaller than I'd normally wear for a diver, but it's really comfortable on the right bracelet.
Yeah. Kevin also asked me if I'm liking how I'm liking the Railmaster. So I am actually increasing in my love for the Railmaster, not decreasing. So
I thought you were going to say I'm selling it right now.
No. I'm really enjoying the Railmaster. I'm getting used to the longer lugs. So as I'm getting used to the longer lugs, I'm noticing more interesting little nuances in the case. The lugs, the lugs were kind of a speed bump. The long lugs were a speed bump because I have a small wrist, but you know I always like to put that qualifier, and it makes it sound like I'm about to flip it at any second, but I think I'll keep that for a while.
2022.
Yeah.
Kevin says 3 months. Bobby says 2022. We'll see. I wouldn't call them homages. They're just copies versus fakes. Ristra said, and yeah, there you go. Withered Manscape says, Toran, stop being right all the time. Come on,
All the
Toran.
time.
I am not. But I'm glad he thinks so.
Yeah. Smiths, there you go.
Smiths is a good example of, I guess, paying a homage, right? Those watches.
Yeah. But then they have that one line, the Everest, where it's a direct, copy. But they really should have made their original watch, I'd say. Dan Henry watches are nice homage watches since they're homage to a style. Yep, agreed. Well said. Chaz is agreeing with Jared as well. Okay. Peter said, I thought you were going to say that as well. I'll go with the 3 months. Sorry, Sanjay. There we go. All right. Well, Kevin, he asked about the 925 Black Bay 58. So I guess we should kind of talk about it. I did a whole bunch of research on the 925 sterling silver metal, the alloys that are available, the hardnesses, and I spent an afternoon just obsessing over this Tudor because I really like the colorway. I really like the taupe colorway, so gray on gray with a stainless steel looking case. I think it looks fantastic. But it's sterling silver. I don't understand this. I don't know why they did it. But yeah, do you guys have any hot takes on this? Keith, I know you haven't said too much. You've been following the Tudor train as well, so
Yeah. I think in pictures it looks. I'm surprised that actually, like, you could tell the difference. At least I feel like I could tell the difference.
Yeah.
I don't know what you found in your research. I think Tudor is saying that they're doing something proprietary to the silver, but they won't say what it is. I don't know if you were able to find that out. But the fact that people, I know I'm known for being the person who hates scratches, but someone was talking about how easy silver scratches. It's like, I'm out. The Black Bay scratch easily enough as it is. You don't even need to make it worse. The color itself it doesn't really do anything for me. The color, the color of the bezel and the dial, the grayish brownish color or whatever that is.
It's a good paint color. to paint on like a wall or something. That's a good paint color.
You think so? Kind of
gray. Like something like a living room or something, grayish.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the case back.
No.
Why? Why? Just keep it closed, or if you're doing it, decorate it. Especially if you're in that price point, you're competing with like a Seamaster. Good lord.
Yeah, it baffles me. Other than to think of the fact that they want to pull in newbie watch collectors, and it would be easier for a salesman to say, "Hey, look at the back. It's cool. Look at this spinny thing, and this is how it works. There's no battery in it. How cool is that? And
you can get a
salesman, man. You should work at an AD.
Yeah.
I'd be like the enthusiastic guy hopped up on coffee, like, "Hey man, have you seen this? Look at this." Yeah. So just to touch on a bit of the research I did, silver is so soft. It's even softer than gold. and I don't know what Tudor could have done. 925 silver means 92.5% silver, and the rest would be a mixture of copper, nickel, whatever they would use up to make their own proprietary alloy to make it more brilliant, more shiny. But silver in general is around 75 HV or Vickers. Gold is around 90. Stainless steel is around 155. But there are different things you can do to increase that hardness. Zinn does tegamenting, which brings it up to 1200 HV. So it virtually becomes unscratchable just from day-to-day life, unless if you scrape it on concrete or something, which is really hard. So you have like this thing that you're gonna wipe it with a microfiber cloth. There's gonna be some dust particles, that'll be hard. I mean, at 75 Vickers, like nails will scratch it, like your fingernail. You'll be able to scratch it because I just can't understand. It's a dive watch. It's such a betrayal to the dive watch. But then there's the all gold Submariner. I have to kind of center myself to think there's an all gold Submariner. And I think the two-tone Rolex Explorer is another betrayal to just this sports watch, like a field watch. It's a betrayal. But yeah, I just really like the colorway, and I want to I want to like it, and I hope to go take a look at it at some point when we get out of lockdown, because we just went into another lockdown.
There's no bracelet, right? It's just a strap.
Yeah, just a strap. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's a soft metal.
It would have been interesting to see a silver bracelet, like
Yeah,
My worst nightmare.
I know.
yeah, because it's gonna gather scratches just from your coat going back and forth. Because there's dust in the air, right? You're gonna walk through. Say you play with your kids in the park, and you get some dust in your coat. Sure, you're not wearing your silver Tudor Black Bay 58 for the park, right? But then you come home, you take your coat off, you put it away. You get up the next day, grab your coat, put on your beautiful Tudor Black Bay 58 with the silver case, and the coat just goes back and forth on the watch. It's just the thoughts of my nightmares.
I think what Toran has right now, the Black Bay Blue, is probably the best version so far of a everyday sports Black Bay 58.
Yeah. I prefer the
Black one.
Yeah, I prefer the black one. Although I had the opportunity to buy it again, but I keep passing up on it. I don't know why. It's just when I see it in person, I think the fact that it has no anti-reflective coating, if at all, it might have some, but all I see is glare, and I just get turned off in the Black Bay 58, even though I love the way it wears.
I mean, it's the same thing for the Oris Aquas you have. It's like looking in a mirror almost.
They've got some anti-reflective coating.
They do? I can't even tell.
Yeah, they do.
I think they do.
Yeah, I think
Because it's not as bad. At least I haven't found it to be as distracting. Yeah. Bobby Legs gave me another $5. Come on, man. You're gonna go bankrupt. Thanks.
So that's 6 Canadian.
Yeah. No, that's like 300 Canadian. No, thanks, Bobby. You're the best. We love you. I don't know. Does anyone have any thoughts on the 925? Anyone else?
So yeah, I'll just put up my thoughts. Actually, I was initially very excited because the website's crashing and everything, and I finally get to see this video, and I was like, oh wow, this is the first.
Sam,
Tudor
you were
Black Bay.
stalking Tudor.
Yeah.
You were the one who was hyped
Yeah.
up about Tudor. Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, this is the first Black Bay with the case back, and then I got to see more pictures, more iterations, the gold one as well. I was kind of disappointed with the movement finishing, because like you can get a Breitling Super Ocean 2, I believe, and that movement finishing when you do open that case back is actually phenomenal. Breitling have done excellent job with finishing that Tudor movement, which they have. So I would have expected, if not for the silver, you could have easily done something for the gold. Because I look at the pictures of the gold on the website and I look back and it's like you have this beautiful gold, and then it's just like, hey, it's just a pedestrian movement with absolutely no finishing. It's just like, who, I don't know who's buying this. You have to be a Tudor fanatic.
Yeah.
You need a, yeah, and like I was initially very hyped up. I was like, oh wow, this is the first time we get to see, in the Black Bay. Maybe they decided to put a movement there, but yeah, that was the only thing that
Yeah. I mean,
put me
like,
off. Yeah.
the gold one, like you said, is at around, if you give 2K more, I think you get a Vacheron overseas.
Right.
With the movement that just, I mean, it's night and day. You
Yeah.
can't even compare those two.
Maybe it's just me, but maybe because I'm a Chicago Bears fan and I hate the Packers, but yellow, gold, and green just makes me think of Packers all the time. I can never do it.
So watch Aaron Rodgers would wear. Yeah, I see that. But speaking of, I think Tudor's Chrono, I loved their Chrono release. I think that's going to sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, it already is. They actually did show up in Toronto. So my AD got a couple in, and I saw a guy on Instagram who frequents my AD. He already picked one up, and I was like, oh, yeah. I really like that Chrono too.
What's
But
the retail on that, Sanjay, in Canada? Is it like 6,000 or something?
yeah, 5,900, I think. I looked it up, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I think 5,900 ish Canadian.
So 10 more Bobby Leg donations.
Yeah, Bobby, $5 more. Yeah,
Did you guys like the white or the black one?
I like the black.
The white one.
Black. Yeah.
Yeah, normally I like panda dials for Coronos if I were to go for one. But because the indices and hands aren't outlined in black, it makes me lean towards the black one instead.
I just like red text on dials. So
And is it so? It's essentially using a B01 like Breitling chronograph movement, right?
yeah,
At like a less price than what the Breitling chronographs go for.
yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be
Like a
sad.
healthy discount.
It's gonna be sad when Tudor outsells Breitling's chronographs 2-1 probably
Yeah.
with their movement.
Withered Manscape, we're a crazy bunch, but welcoming Tobias. Good to see you, Tobias. Thanks for joining us. Chaz mentioned maybe it's tegumented silver. I don't.
I don't think you can tag them at silver.
That would be interesting. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they've done something, some kind of hardening, but there's not a lot to play with. I mean, it's not like 316L steel. There's so much you can do to steel to harden it, right? Heat it up, like the Damasco does ice hardening. That's a fascinating way that they do it. Damascus
You
blade.
like remove the nickel from the metal somehow, I think,
Yeah.
and it's just as hard as tegumenting.
Yeah. So I mean, there's so many amazing ways to harden steel, but silver, I don't know. We'll find out though when they start rolling out. 925 watch is a dive watch not meant for diving. That's true, and that's why it kind of feels like a betrayal. But I mean, it already exists, so I don't know why it's affecting me personally that much. But
I mean, the Black
Sorry,
Bay
go ahead.
58 is one of my favorite watches. And if you would have told me before this week that they were going to announce 2 new Black Bay 58s and I wasn't going to care about either one of them, I would have been floored. I mean, think of all the things they could have done. But yeah, it's wild.
yeah. Wilson says death, taxes, and watch scratches. No way of getting around it.
I'm trying
Well
my
said.
best.
Tudor doesn't use AR coating, at least not in any Black Bay variant I've seen. I think they do on the Pelagos.
Yeah.
Sorry, jumped up here. Chaz gave us another $5. There we go. We can go buy our panda now. Thanks, Chaz. That's very kind of you. So I guess we failed on our mission to not talk about the black or watches and wonders. We
You
kinda
mentioned
stole-
silver. That's what happened.
Yeah, someone mentioned 925, and it just came out.
So you said you did all the research, but again, Tudor hasn't said what they're doing to that.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
I just
So
wanna
I
make
mean,
sure.
they know what they're doing. They're far more educated than I. I was just fumbling through Google and looking at research documents and hardening techniques and things like that. So, yeah, I'm sure. I'm not sure, but I hope they've done something to not make this a joke. Because I really like the colorway. I really like the gray. But yeah, since we dove head first, do you guys have anything that you are interested in from this week? Like specifically, really interested in? There was a green reverso. There was also a $400,000 reverso. Probably was my winner for Watches and Wonders.
You're gonna need a few more super chats for that one.
Yeah, just two more. Two more.
That, I was saying that watchmaker needs to work for Tesla. The guy
Yeah.
who made that reverso.
Yeah, insane stuff. The green reverso is really nice. I like the color that they used. It's such a rich green, not like the kind of like. Well, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna start a fire, but yeah, that reverso is fantastic. I really like that green reverso, and it's accessible. It's not crazy priced. Um, oh, Watch Yourself mentioned the new dials for the Datejust. Am I crazy, or did anyone else immediately think Grand Seiko when they saw that green leafy dial? You're not crazy. When I first saw it, I thought there was texture to the dial. I thought there were like waves and ripples, and the leaves kind of because I was thinking Grand Seiko, but then it's just a printed dial. It looks like a shower curtain. It really
Yeah.
it like crushed my soul when I saw that it was just printed.
Well, there was a
Shower curtain,
meme.
I like that.
There was a meme going around comparing that to a Grand Seiko watch, and it was like there was no comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't remember
there
the
was
exact.
this good meme.
Yeah,
I think
can't
this
remember
is
the
what we
exact
probably
joke,
saw.
but-
It was like ordered on AliExpress. It showed like the Grand Seiko, the green one, and then what you get, the Rolex with the green dial. But yeah, I think maybe I don't know. You'd seen that
And
one.
I saw someone say it looks like weed, and now I can't unsee that either.
That's true. That's true, Keith. You're absolutely. I saw that meme too. I was like, that's a good one.
yeah. I'm sure it
At
looks
least they're-
better in person. It's got to look
Yeah,
better in
at least
person.
they're
Yeah.
doing something a little different.
But like those honeycomb dials, those are really nice. I really like those the honeycomb. Like they had the blue honeycomb and like a golden kind of outline honeycomb dial. Those are really nice. I would definitely be interested in one of those if I was in the market for a Rolex, but I am not. But yeah, the palm dial was awful. Chaz agrees. Wrist Ross, wow, thanks, man. Very kind of you guys. Well, money.
That's for chocolate milk.
Yeah. Adult chocolate milk. Not really sure what you're saying there, oil money, but I'm sure
Or
it's very
what's he drinking? I guess.
Oh. Homage to Grand Seiko for sure. I don't know. I don't think Rolex is easily influenced, but they've got to be, feeling some pressure from all the different dials Grand Seiko's doing.
Were you guys anybody? Because I know Sanjay and I talked about it before, but anybody like was really interested in something that you might even like say, hey, this might be something I might consider in the future of this week's Watches and Wonders? No.
Yeah, it's a great question.
I'd like to see the Tudor chronograph in person. It's kind of obtainable. I don't know.
I would be pretty close to. I would be very interested in the Black Tudor chrono, like because they did thin it out. So the previous gen chrono I couldn't manage because the thickness was a bit too much for me. But I mean, they only brought it down by like half a millimeter, maybe a bit maybe a bit more. So I'm hopeful, but I'm not holding my breath. You know, um, but the Tudor Black Bay 36 with the silver dial and the outline indices, I think that's a stunning Black Bay 36 rendition. So I would like to see that in person as well, and there's a chance I would purchase that, the silver Black Bay 36.
Yeah,
Anyone
I think
else?
on my end, as you mentioned, like maybe in the future, I really like the pistachio dial manual wind Breitling, simply because it's a manual wind watch, and I really like that dial color. It was a pretty good looking watch, so that's something far into the future, but something like I would consider.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Buckley dials. I've heard that heard that phrase before. Bobby, do you know what the Buckley dials are?
No, I'm not sure, but I've heard of it before too.
We'll have to look that up. It's not the quality of Grand Seiko, but I feel as though it's an attempt. Released a video on that the other day.
Okay.
We'll have to check that out. Guys, check out Watch Yourselves YouTube channel. I didn't even know you did YouTube videos. Have I said this before? Peter, wow, thanks, man. You guys need to stop.
Going straight to the AD after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, we really do appreciate it. It's very kind, guys. Tobias says weed. That's now all that I can think of. Yeah, I hadn't heard that before, but I probably can't unsee that either now. Bottled Bond this evening. Okay. All right. Yeah. Anything else that you guys want to talk about before we wrap up?
I think because everything's subdued because everybody didn't like Rolex's releases, but I think IWC did a really good job. I think they probably and of course unattainable stuff like Vacheron and Alangazona were really good too. But IWC, I think a lot of people because the big pilot was 46, now it's 43. And they're having the bracelet option too. A lot of people probably will be considering that if they're buying something, different this year. Also,
yeah,
with the
Architect did a good video on the bracelet for that. Looks
Yep.
great.
And the Mojave Desert, they released it in 2019. They released a couple more with the ceramic titanium alloy. I think those are really high demand. I think those are going to sell quickly too, because there's only like 500 pieces each, I believe. I think those were the really big winners, in my opinion, besides all the other Tudor.
Yeah. I really like the IWC Little Big Pilot. Oil Money has a huge wrist, as I learned the other day, but I have a really tiny wrist. I probably still can't pull off the 43 mil Little Big Pilot,
You
but
can't the Railmaster.
yeah, I know. You guys can rag on me if you like. I enjoy it. But that Bark and Jack did a video on the bracelet, and it looks like they brought in the technology or the mechanism that the Alangazona bracelet has. The where you push a button, the Odysseus, sorry, where you push a button, pull the links out. That looks fantastic. That looks amazing. The fact that you're getting, something from a $60,000-$70,000 watch into, can't really remember what the Little Big Pilot is going for, but
I think it's 9, I believe.
9, yeah. So you get that mechanism from this really expensive watch. That's phenomenal. So I'm really excited about the bracelet. Really excited about the watch. Wish they would make
the Glasuta CQ bracelet have a similar feature, and it's only like 9,000 as well.
I'm not sure.
I think it has a push button release on the clasp, and each individual link is you can unscrew it. So
yeah, Daniel IWC had it before online. Right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I thought it was the.
But it's funny though you're saying because all these brands are Richemont brands. Cartier has their release system. Vacheron has their release system. Longazona and not IWC. I'm thinking that's going to be the future to try to sell their own straps. And
Yeah.
a good selling point too.
Yeah, that's the first thing I did. I was like, when I saw the little dots at the back of the bracelet, I was like, "Is IWC Richemont?" Because I mean, I knew. I just had to double check.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good point. It was available on the Mark 18s for a couple of years.
Mhm.
Wow, I did not know that.
I think
Right.
Mark 18 might be something you guys, Sanjay, if you're considering IWC, they
Yeah,
have even the older ones are pretty good sized.
straight with the blue dial.
Yeah, blue Le Petit Prince or even the black dial.
Yeah,
There's a Hodinky edition too, which I presume sold out, but that's pretty good. This time only.
Yeah,
that's
actually, I
kind
have
of.
a friend and YouTuber in London who has that one from Hodinky.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty nice.
that's kind of the reason why I pivoted to like the Oris, because I didn't want to get into IWC as well as Omega as well as Grand Seiko, and so I knew Oris had the Pro Pilot, and it was really close to the Le Petit Prince. The color, the dial, and even the look. So I switched to the Oris Pro Pilot to kind of scratch the itch of the IWC.
I'll ask it to you guys and to the chat here, but I presume that IWC, knowing that the Mojave Desert is pretty popular, if they release a Mark 18 in Mojave Desert theme, I think that people buy that. I'm thinking that's going to be a super popular watch because of smaller dimensions, a color theme, Ceratanium. I think that would be the best IWC receipt in recent memory.
Yeah, yeah. I do not want to buy more.
Well, not this year. Let's say next year. As I said, 2022.
Yeah, right. When I flip the Railmaster,
Yeah,
I'll go for
exactly.
IWC.
Yes. Omega hasn't released, like, they don't have their own show, right? They have their, is that later on, I believe, Swatch?
Yeah, I forget what it was called. Something about
Yeah.
stars or something, right?
Yeah. I think it's later. So
Yeah. Watch the stars. I don't know. They had something last year where when they boycotted Basel 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Ristros agrees with Bobby. That would be fire. It would be.
yeah.
Um,
Has anybody like Toran? Have you owned an IWC?
I have not. Because I typically, when I go for like pilot watches like that, I go German. I go Zinn or Damasco typically.
Okay.
But I'm
Everyone is-
definitely in the market for one. Do they retain their value? Like that kind of brings back to like flipping watches.
So like the Mark 18, like I would probably recommend buying secondhand for IWC, but once you buy it, it retains its value, like Mark 18s, and you should be able to not lose that much after.
Yeah, you
buy
see
it.
them on the Canadian forum sometimes, right, Sanjay? Like I've seen.
Yeah.
them come up.
Yeah, I've been tempted quite a few times. They're so nice.
Yeah,
That and Panerai, those are ones that if you don't try on, it's a good thing because you haven't been exposed to it. But once you touch it, you're like, oh no, this is great.
I
I've
think
seen
IWC was one of the original like Flieger watches, right? I think
yeah.
they're kind of bundled in there with like Stova and
I think it was initially, of course,
Blacko.
Cartier. I think there's a video from a Watchbox, I think a couple of years ago or a year ago, about like the history of pilot watches. It was pretty nice. Like you were saying, it started with Cartier and then goes to like Stowa and then IWC. Actually, before that, even Zenith pilot watches was there. And then they go on to Pan Am, the Pepsi.
You notice in that video they completely skipped over glycine and the airman.
Yes, they did. They did.
That's interesting. Yeah, we're talking about Panerai. Bobby and I were talking about this a little bit, and I mentioned, to me, Panerai has become a bit of a joke. The reason I don't know, I know they offer like a wide range of value, but they do like this really weird stuff. And to me, who is kind of not too familiar with Panerai, seeing like the news stories from outside in, Panerai has become a bit of a joke to me. in the sense like they're doing this stuff with Carbotech, recycled recycled metals, and all these different things, and they cost astronomical amounts of money. And in my head, so in the back of my mind, the more they do like these things, the more I go, I kind of completely pushed Panerai out of my realm of possibility, because of like some of the stuff that they're doing
But
recently.
I think we should take that with a word of caution, though, because I think like 10 years ago, Panerai was the brand, right?
Yeah,
Everything was over retail, everything. But I think right now, even their base models, like I would not recommend buying a Panerai with complications or anything like that. I would buy the base Panerai,
yeah,
like 111 or 000 or whatever. The base radio mirror. I would not go unless you're a true Panerai and you're collecting more than one watch of Panerai, going to the Carbotech or anything. Right now, the market's really it's a buyer's market for Panerai, and so
yeah,
if you're interested in the base models, I think you shouldn't feel averse to that. You should not like what they're releasing right now, but their previous models are still really 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 good watches.
yeah,
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 see, I'm kind of the mind of like I've never experienced or owned a Panerai, but I'm actually intrigued by them more and more. But like I want someone to disciple me in what to get. So like Bobby, to your point, like it's good to know, not to go crazy high complication or anything, right? Just
Yeah.
to try something out on the base
Yes.
model because at least and for my wrist size, I think I can pull it off even if it's like
Yes.
the 44 mil. I
You're
know they
absolutely.
make smaller ones, but
Your wrist size that could definitely fit a 44 Luminor or even like a I think radio mirrors is also 44, 45.
mhm.
But that being said, for your wrist, definitely. But I don't know if in Canada, do you have a nearby Panerai 80 you can try out?
yeah,
That's just it. Or do we, Sanjay? I don't know. There's nothing
yeah,
around
yeah. In
Probably
Yorkdale.
Toronto,
Yeah, true. You're in London, so
London. Yeah.
Yorkdale Mall has Panerai. So I've gone in there a couple of times.
Because
Okay.
I would definitely try it out. I would just go there and maybe try out like the 510 and maybe the 111 or
Yeah, because I
base.
see them on like on the forums a lot, but without trying it, like I just don't want to commit to buying
I
something
know
and not being happy.
you definitely should wear it, but once you see it in person, because of the domed crystal and everything, it gives you a different. It's different from all the watches you ever worn. But that being said, if you want to experience that, um, because the thing is, once you do that, you might get tempted. So take that with a
Right.
grain of salt.
Yeah.
Oil money with some fighting words here. kick Bobby off the live stream. Good stuff. Oil money. Um, yeah, I think another thing that turned me off Panerai was the Due models, right? The 38 mil with the 30 meters of water resistance. I think there was a bit of a firestorm about that a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I even watched a Panerai production video, and it was interesting to me that their patented crown protector system, like it's not even required for the water resistance. Apparently, it's almost just like for show. Or I mean, it should protect the crown too, but like,
yeah,
I don't know if
yeah.
that's true or not.
Well, I think it became like that thing that we were talking about because we buy watches as an aesthetic tool or an aesthetic thing, right? They look good, these watches they look good on our wrist and we enjoy it that way. But they're I think just the way we like the fact that they serve a purpose, and when that purpose has been sacrificed for something else, it becomes it becomes a bit of a betrayal, at least in my head. It becomes that sort of betrayal, and you lose interest because of that. I don't know if that applies to you guys as well, but when they released a 38 millimeter Panerai, that was this original dive watch, used by uh,
Italian
military dive units, and they use the same design, but it becomes a 30-meter water resistant watch. You kind of
Yeah, I would I would never get a Due.
yeah.
That's just whatever. And I think they have the case back is faulty too on those Dues.
Yeah, and there was that issue with where they released a watch that wasn't decorated. They
Oh, the
advertised.
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn Bridge incident or
Brooklyn,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, all these things kind of really damage the brand to me to even want to consider owning a Panerai, right? Especially from the outside looking in. I mean, it must be soul crushing to people who've owned Panerais over the years, but to a newbie watch collector like myself, it becomes like a thing you kind of push Panerai out of the option list, kind of like with Movado and Tag Heuer, and not saying too much wrong against Tag Heuer, but they've had similar issues, where they've lied, false advertised, and then you just throw them out the window.
But I think Tag, unlike Tag, I think Panerai does have. I think it's in the Luminor is an icon. I don't
Yeah.
think Tag has anything in its model. Maybe the Monaco, but other than that, Tag doesn't have anything that closely resembles a Luminor in its in modern.
That's a good point. The Luminor is iconic. That's a case shape that you can't kind of remove from history. So
I
that's
also worry about there's a lot of fakes out there for Panerai as well, right? As opposed to like say for
Yes.
Tag or some other brands.
Yeah, and that's another thing. You have to be very careful buying from
Yeah, so
secondhand
that's
market.
again for someone who's like interested and not really experienced. I guess going to an 80 is probably the best first step you can take.
Yep, or buy a reputable dealer.
Yeah, by the seller. Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
yeah. So I know a couple of you guys were talking about the Super Best Watch Friends Club. I got a link, so I am able to generate an invite link, and it's in the chat right now. So if you guys want to click that and join in, it's a great group to continue the conversation. I know Bobby Legs is going to be on there in about half hour, and we just video chat, just sitting on the I sit on my dining room table, and I don't sit on my table. I sit at my table, and we just chat away. It's great. It's a great community there.
You go to the grocery store now, get the chocolate milk that you got from the live stream right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Come back.
Look for the adult chocolate milk.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think this will be a good point to call it quits for the evening. Do you guys have anything to plug? Keith is our resident watch enthusiast. He does not have an Instagram.
Yeah, I have nothing to plug for myself. I will say I've been watching a lot of Watch Gringa this week, that YouTube channel. It's relatively new and it's super entertaining. So watch Gringa. It's a good one.
All right.
She drinks a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
have
adult
nothing.
milk too.
What'd you say?
I think she drinks a lot of adult chocolate milk too.
Oh yeah, she does. Yeah.
Bobby's Instagram is Watch Medicine. You can find him there. You can also find him on the Super Best Watch Friends Club Discord group. Sam's there as well. Keith's there as well. Toran, you got to get on there.
Yeah, I gotta follow that up. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Sam has a YouTube channel, Sands of Time. I don't know if you have an Instagram. You don't have.
I might make one. I might make one.
Okay,
And
yeah.
yeah.
So all the links should be in the description. I made sure to put them in this time. Toran, of course, is Everyday Watch Guy on YouTube. Everyday Watch Guy on Instagram as well. He was doing a couple of giveaways with Whitby Watch Co. I don't know if you want to plug that again, Toran.
Yeah, actually, because shortly after this live stream, I'm going to post the video that I'm reviewing a couple of the GMT ambassador models from the Whitby Watch Company, and there's going to be details on my YouTube and on the Instagram to win some free swag. So I'm giving away a couple of hats and Whitby Watch Company T-shirts.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Well,
And Jared was saying on Sunday night, the live stream with you and Bobby Legs, he's looking forward to the Sunday popcorn live stream, especially with your movie trivia.
yeah, well, there you go. Sorry, guys. I always forget to plug it. But Sunday nights on the Bobby Legs YouTube channel, there is a thing that we do. It's called Watch Soup. We review a couple of videos from the week. We talk about some of the reviews that happened. And we have some fun conversations. The last time we were basically crying, laughing because of my really inept movie trivia knowledge thing. But yeah, it's a good time. So check it out if you have Sunday nights free. Other than that, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me here on YouTube. But yeah, Hope you guys have a great night, a great weekend, and I will see you guys next week. Take care, guys.
Good.
Have a good night.